Hello.
Good morning, folks. We're recording this early on Friday to talk about yesterday, where we went to Osaka. Osaka, what did you think?
Osaka is a crazy city.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
really,
God.
really bonkers. Very modern, but also very
There's some
traditional.
historical elements.
Historical,
The shopping district is the busiest place I've ever been, and I'd say half the people there are not shopping, they're taking photographs of the other crazy people who are shopping.
And it's not very. It has been renovated for a while, so you can see all these crazy billboards and
Oh yeah,
and
it's
signs and
the signage and the
animated
billboards.
crabs on the top of the front edge of the buildings.
Absolutely
It's funny.
crazy and funny. But anyway, we looked around the shopping district and we also looked around the food district, didn't we? There, all the stalls and the food and that kind of thing. And we tasted our first. Go on, you pronounce it.
Okonomiyaki,
Okonomiyaki.
which is a
Which
base
is a-
of cabbage and pancake batter, in fact,
Yeah.
on top of which the cook puts
You
all
can
sort
have
of
anything.
things, so
But we went to this particular place where it was run by a woman on her own. Shisho, or something.
Shisho.
The Shisho, that's it. Shisho.
and the place is called OKO.
Yeah.
And
She's
it's
crazy.
She's eccentric, but very, very nice.
Very, very nice. People write on the walls. It was wild and it was good, fun. But for me, I was totally not turned on by the food at all. I thought it was awful.
I liked it, but yeah.
Gilles liked it, and Gary and Lorraine liked it. But for me, it was like
Bubble and squeak.
bubble and squeak in enormous quantity. It was not for me. We also took a ride on the world's tallest escalator.
It's not really.
It's very
tallest
misleading
escalator because
it's at the top of a
position
very
at the top
tall
of a very
building, but it's between two buildings. I didn't feel like Osaka. I did an enormous amount to our understanding of Japan. It was
part
another
of the
city,
Japanese
but
culture.
it was funny, but it wasn't amazing. The last part of the day we went to visit Osaka Castle, which is an impressive thing. The moat, the two
moat.
massive moats, enormous walls leading up to it.
made with gigantic piece of
Gigantic. I don't know
stone.
if they did it. It was 1,000 years old. It was incredible. The castle was incredible. And then the last thing was I said I would look into the whole Geisha story because it was slightly uncomfortable, and which we did. And the first question is, are they in effect prostitutes? The answer is no, they're not. But there's some ambiguity in that. The first Geishas were men, they were not women, and it was only in the late 18th century that women took over and became the Geishas, and they were in fact retainers initially, and the courtesans were the prostitutes, and Geishas were absolutely not prostitutes. And they essentially operate from tea houses, and you can only make become a geisha by going through years of training, and you are trained by a mother of the house. And then there's the slightly uncomfortable bit where you have to pay back your training by the house mother renting you out to the tea houses. But in many ways, when you look at what they did and what their training was, it was like a Swiss finishing school from the 1970s. It had that sort of ambience of women who were being taught how to look after their man, kind of thing. The ambiguity comes from the fact that as the men go to the tea houses, they get to know the different geishas, and after a while they can request that individual geisha becomes their exclusive geisha, and they pay the mother of the house a significant sum for the right to have them only work with them, and then they pay the geisha money to only pay for them, and over time those relationships can become more intimate and can become almost like a mistress. But it's not a formal part of the process. It never takes place in the tea house, and sometimes it's done with the knowing consent of the wife. So it's an ambiguous situation, but it's not what I thought it was in terms of prostitution. Still sexist as hell and very sort of Swiss finishing school, but it's not prostitution. Anyway, that's what I learned.
Accomplished women.
Yeah, and they're often very intelligent, accomplished women.
Were they religious? Were they like
No,
practicing
there
religion?
doesn't seem to be any religious element to it at all.
They were not allowed to pray or to be.
I don't think that was part of it. It's certainly not mentioned. Anyway, that's it, folks. So we will see you, and we'll sign into probably tomorrow. We'll post about Hiroshima. So we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you. Bye.